welcome to Rippa Rambles with me, Jack the Ripper. Today's going to be an interesting one. There isn't as much of a set topic. This is as close as there's going to be to sort of a rant video. And this is sort of picking apart things that I like and dislike about World of Tanks console as it currently stands. And this is nothing to do with the meta. This is pretty much everything outside of the game itself. A lot of this will affect on in-game, but it's going to be largely about the outside of the game. And probably not going to be the most popular video I'm ever going to do amongst wargaming staff. So let's start with something else first, because this is the kind of last one where this is me kind of defining what I'm talking about. So one of the things I've always wanted to do was I want to do it based around what you guys want to talk about. So if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or SoundCloud, there we go, then it's a slight inconvenience, but I would appreciate if your answers then you come and drop in the YouTube comments, because it's one place where I can look at all of them. But anyone watching this on YouTube, just leave a comment and ask saying where you want me to talk about, maybe why. There doesn't need to be a why, but if a why, so I understand your point of view on it, because it might be you say, oh, talk about this, and I think you mean it positively and you mean it negatively, or vice versa. And if there's a subject that's overall kind of said repeatedly, the modal average, then I will talk about that. If there isn't, then I'll just choose one I think I can speak well on, and I'll do research into all these, and I'll find out what I can. Now, thank you very much for doing that. I look forward to seeing what you have to say, and let's get on with this. So, the Rippa Mega. Sorry, the War Beasts Mega, basically, I believe that is. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation because I was assuming it's German and then went to a very bad German accent. 24,500 gold with a 20% saving, right? So if we scroll down, I've got the web page here in front of me, and we get the base packages of the Scorpion G, the KR, and the Mutts, the three you get into it. Those come to a total value of 30,200 gold if you buy them individually. If we go back up to this, so 24,000 gold for the three of them. That's actually quite a good deal. I mean, I can't say it wrong. That is a good deal. That is, you are saving a considerable amount of gold getting all three in one package. I don't like the fact that it's kind of time-walled. So if you want to you have to buy that now. You can't just say, if someone only wants one of them, this package is completely redundant to them. But, that is what it is. I hope that changes in the future, but that's one step at a time. The fact is, there is no additional costs being put on this. What we used to see is this package would be the same price. It would still say 20% saving. They'd put a load of other random stuff in it, and it would cost more than the three combined, buying them separately. Now, they haven't done that, and that's great. But one point stuck to me, and I was doing some mental math in my head, and something... It seemed about right, but I wasn't sure. So I did the math and said, okay, what percentage is 24,500 of 30,200? Is it 80% exactly? Well, no, actually, it's over 81%. Because the amount you actually save is 18%. 18.8, let's be fair. So call it 19%. So you save 19%. That's still a good saving. But why are they not saying you're saving 19%? Why is it 20%? Because that is just a lie. And the one above it says 25%. I'm not going to work it out, but I'm betting that's also not 25%. So they put 25, so they're not against putting another number that isn't a 20. But are they only doing it in groups of 5? Do they have to round it up to a group of 5? In which case, why do they have to lie to us? That's a strange company policy. Why do you have to lie? That doesn't make sense to me. The communication that's coming from Wargaming North America is utterly shoddy. Like, I can't believe this is a professional company. It's astounding. And part of the reason why I want to talk about this is because I am now actually going to have to start the Wargaming Community Contributor Program is going global. So I'm going to have more dealings with these guys. And I have quite publicly said, you're crap, for a very long time now. And I think this is going to lead me to some interesting situations. I can definitely see there being some awkward situations in future. And I don't care. I'm not going to stop saying, I think you're crap, until they stop changing. As I said at the start, I'm glad there is actually a deal there. Back in the day, I used to talk a lot about some of the deals. Things like, even as recently as the Boilermaker, I said, really good deal. You get an op that gets you 1,000 gold. I mean, for I think it was about 4,200 gold tank. So you get a decent tank. and you get another 1,000 gold back. I mean, and you get an exclusive perk thing. I mean, everything worked out really nicely with that. There was a real nice package. But here there isn't. Here there's a good deal, but that's it. That's fine. I'm okay with that, though. But then why lie on something so simple? They have in the past said 19%. They have in the past said 22%. They have in the past given the true amounts. If I go through these, I'll see if... Yeah, my computer's being slow as all hell right now, which is slightly disconcerting. Let's see. Are there any of the other ones? So it's 15%, 20%, 10%. Yeah, so it looks like what they've tried to do is they've tried to give it so there is exact multiples of 5 and only exact multiples of 5 throughout this. And I bet the chances are none of them are exact multiples of 5. And that's just ridiculous. Why are they doing this? What a completely unnecessary thing. And a big part of this discussion as to why it's important at the moment is because of the fact that the thing recently that came into the game is crew voices. Now, they sound like utter crap. They do. Like, I'm glad to have them, but why do they sound like that? They sound awful. They just sound awful. There is no reason for them to sound so poor. Sorry, but if I can... I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm aware that my streams are probably not the best. I'm aware that my YouTube videos are probably not the best audio quality. But they sound better than that. You can remove background sound. I'm using a mic that costs about 120, 130 pound. Now, I don't have a studio. I'm in a room. I've got my computer near me, so I've had to mess about with my mic massively to try and get it so it stops picking up the sound. I really want to sort of find a way. Again, it's essentially just laziness, I'll be honest. But it's a case of it's very impractical, and I've not wanted to do it. Like, if I move, all I would need to do is move my computer under my desk, and the amount of pickup noise of the fans would be drastically reduced. So a company can definitely do that. They've got no excuses, but they did. But what they've given us sounds like it's being sent through a tin can and a string, and you have to pay for that. Why? Why are we paying for that? It's free on PC. Oh yeah, but we get extra customization. So what? I didn't ask for extra customization. Okay, fine. Okay, do it this way then. Make it free for the crew voice of their actual nationality, and if you want it different, then you have to pay. So you want a Chinese voice on a German crew, you have to pay. That's fine. That's going extra and beyond, above and beyond, and doing that extra mile. I managed to mix the two of them, the extra beyond. That is the some. You can kind of see some form of justification for that, because they've had to do something that isn't the standard. Otherwise, why? There is no reason for that. There is no reason. There is no good justification. Oh yes, but we need money. Well, then don't freaking lie about how much you're charging for things. And sorry, if you need money, but you've been putting tanks behind paywalls that are worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were talking about wargaming, and they were really, really kind of going on about this multi-billion-dollar company. And that's just not true, right? Okay? So in 2012, wargaming made something like $200 million total, or 200 million euros, of which something like 6 million was profit. That's a lot of money to us, but in terms of a massive company, that is not huge. Now, these days, I believe their turnover is just over $500 million, something around there. Probably like 600 million, something like that. Who knows, they may have even hit $1 billion by now. But only a small percent of that is going to be profit. But even by that standards, that is still probably at least 10 to 15, maybe even $25 million or euros, whatever currency they're going to be in. So they're making the money. That is not a problem. As a company, they are making money. The whole thing is, it's almost as if they think that this is a dying platform. And it's an argument there's been a lot for, and I don't believe it is a dying platform, because I think there's enough that's going to be changing to keep it going. And in the same sense of, I get told this all the time, oh, it's a dying platform. No one's going to play World of Tanks console. Everyone's going to play Destiny. Well, Destiny died out and people came back to World of Tanks. Well, they're going to play The Division. Well, Division sort of died out a little bit and people came back to World of Tanks. Well, they're going to play this, then they're going to play that. Oh no, Crossout, that's the new one that come out. Oh, Crossout, everyone's going to play Crossout within like 3 to 2 months. 3 weeks to 2 months. Almost no one has been playing that now. There are still people who play it a little bit, but all of them came back to World of Tanks. Everyone comes back to this, and it happens all the time. Now, sometimes there are people who take a big year gap. I know people who haven't played World of Tanks for 6-7 months, and then because I've known them for a while, and they're friends of mine, and they've come to watch my stream, they've gone, hey, you know what, I actually kind of want to go play World of Tanks again. There's people who I play on PC who don't play World of Tanks anymore. They play other games, and one of them was even looking at buying an Xbox One just to come back and play World of Tanks with the people he used to play with. And people want to do it. It's almost like an addiction. And we're all addicts, but it's not that terrible in the great scheme of things. We're not hurting anyone, at least, I guess. But it is what it is. But the way they treat us and the way they communicate is so poor. So, I mean, the best example is the patch kits. And everything I heard, and I can't break any NDAs, but everything I heard predating any of the stuff from Just an Ace to do with the boycott said they were not going to be used for the PvP. They were going to be used in a PvE environment. Now, with that piece of information, would all the people who would ended up signing up to the boycott have agreed to the boycott? I would guess no. They'd gone, well, this is stupid. Can you at least make it only a day or 2 days, or give us some form of reward for the fact that we've had to deal with this crap for 2 days? And a lot of people say, oh yeah, but why didn't they put it on the test servers? What test servers? We don't have any. Admittedly, that in my opinion is a problem, but at the same time, on consoles you can't... I mean, if you look at the size, test servers are usually bigger than the live servers. And so if you're going to have a test server, we've already got 30-odd something, 32 gig is it at the moment, taken up. A lot of people's Xboxes, with all the games they already have, they can't afford to put another 30, 40 gig of data on. So I don't think it would work. Okay, well, what about the super test? Oh, for anyone who hasn't been in the super test program, the number of people is tiny. There are weekends where I went on where, it's a big thing. So the weekend where I had issues ended up in the end, and that's why I ended up having to be kicked out of the super test program, the Chieftain weekend. Probably the busiest I've ever seen the super test server. So how many do you think? You're talking. Are we talking 1,000 people? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, are we going lower than that? Maybe 500? 500? No, lower than that. Oh, okay. What are we talking? 300? Oh no, lower than that still. Oh, okay. So it's about 220 people. So I think there was about 220 people that I remember at the peak that I saw, and that's the highest there was during that time. So the Chieftain. This huge thing that was coming to console. Everyone was really excited about it. Most of these people didn't even test it. Most of these people didn't even go to the room. They just sat in the garage and looked at it. You can tell because the server number's online compared to the actual number of rooms. No one was searching in the queue because that's how the super test works. And you're going into private training rooms. And there was only about 3. And they weren't full. Most of them were 4 or 5 people in total. And then occasionally you get one that would pop up and it would fill up to 15 versus 15. And that's it. So you're talking maybe 50 people max out of this. So less than a quarter of these are actually doing any form of proper testing. Now, I'm not saying that is a regular basis. But it's a pretty good guideline. So how much of a joke the super test is for console. And this is going to lead us to somewhere else in a second. But it's the thing of... There is no reason. There is just no reason for the way they act. If you had just told us... They almost treat us like children. Do you know, like when you're in like primary school or a kindergarten sort of era sort of thing if you're American? I don't know what it'd be around the world. And you're there and you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, that there's a kid who's gone home sick or something. He's thrown up, or so there's something you don't understand. Now you're not an idiot. You know that there's something wrong. That you know that something isn't right. But they go, oh well, it's they protect you from the truth. And you go, okay, well, as you grow up, you go, okay, fine, I was young, I can understand it there. But then you still get treated the same when you become 15, 16 in a year of school. I still remember and it's going to sound very, very barely related, and I can't remember the proper word, I was going to say tangential, but that's not the correct word. But I was one time at high school where we're in physics, we're doing chemistry, sorry, and I was a massive physics nerd. And the guy says, as we know, this equation must be followed because, as we know, in a chemical equation, you cannot turn energy into matter and vice versa. Therefore, the energy must stay the same throughout. I went, well, that's not true, sir. I went to a posh school, so we had to call everyone sir. I believe a lot of schools are actually like that these days. And he was just like, no, it is true. And I went, well, it's not, sir. And he's just like, what do you mean, no, it's not? Yes, it is. I'm teaching here. And I went, well, yeah, but sir, physics says otherwise. E equals mc squared was used to prove that energy and matter are transferable. And the result of events, energy can turn into matter, and matter can turn into energy. It's why if you weigh a fire, if you put a room and you weigh the whole room, and you burn something, you burn some wood, whatever, the weight of everything in that room is actually less. Now, it's by a tiny amount, nearly immeasurable, but it is slightly lighter than it was before. Because when you burn it, some of it turns into energy. That fire you see escaping, that's energy that used to be matter. And it's obviously the weight is absolutely tiny, but there is slightly less. But obviously in an advanced piece of physics or an advanced piece of chemistry, that is an important amount of weight. It's something that is noticeable when taking on the tiniest levels. And his response was, oh, that doesn't apply here. You don't need to worry about that. And it's like, well, sir, it's physics. It applies everywhere. And I got given a detention for basically being a mouthy little bastard. But it's almost like that. To me, mind. Oh, no. You don't need to concern yourself with this. It's above you. It's above you. Don't worry your little self about this. Well, no, we're not little children who need protecting. You can't just kind of not give us things and then not expect us to react. I don't agree with how the boycott turned out, but I can understand it entirely. There was never any reason for that boycott to take place. Not in a sense that the boycott itself was wrong, not in the sense that the organisation for it was wrong. I believe those were right. Given the information they were given, it was the undoubted course of action that needed to be taken. But a simple one line, this will be used for PvE. We have to test it in the PvP live servers to get enough data. There you go. That's it. Problem solved. There's no issue anymore. Everything's sorted. Why can you not do something so simple? It's one line. And then back to that. And then it kind of comes to this, well, why are you telling us it's 20%? Because that's just a lie. I mean, it's an interesting thing I'd be interested to see on Trade Description Act, where that comes into. Because, as far as I'm aware, if you tell someone a price is something but it's not, that's actually not allowed. That's illegal. And it's not like they're rounding up by, okay, so as I said, it was 18.8%. Okay, round it up to 19 then. That would sort of be okay. But to 20%? That's a physical amount of value, and we're not talking about small amounts of money here. I mean, 1% of what we're talking here, so what's it, 60, we're talking about 60 odd pound in the UK, so it's about, nearly $100 in America. Probably about $80 right now. So, 1% of that, admittedly, it's not a huge amount, but it's still nearly $1. I mean, that's still a joke. I mean, if you went to a shop, if you went and paid $1 more for your petrol than you were supposed to, essentially they're skimming off the top. That would be the argument. You'd be annoyed. And then I'm no offense to Americans, but you have a bit of a lawsuit culture. I put money, if someone went to Costco, to Walmart, and it said 20% off, and you worked it out, and it wasn't 20% off, it was 19% off, it was 18% off, there'd probably be a lawsuit. Or unless there's some form of law in kind of there saying, it's within this margin of error. But I would be interested to see what that margin of error is, because are wargaming here just, treating us like chumps? Because that's a false promise. And I'm pretty sure we're all sick and tired of false promises. I mean, how long is clans? Clans will be soon. Oh, really? Really? I've been playing for 3 years. I've yet to see a clan war system. But it's soon, apparently, boys. It's soon. And girls, sorry. It's all soon. It's all soon because, we're not allowed to, actually know what's happening. Now, obviously, I sit here in an awkward position because I am aware of certain things that others aren't. But under NDA, I can't talk about that. And so my judgment is purely on what is being made public. And what is being made public is near enough a joke. I don't understand why they do this. It's so stupid. Just give us the information. If you give people the information, then everything is usually okay. Now, yes, people can react badly to it, but because they have the information to it, they don't feel deceived, they don't feel lied to, they don't feel joked or messed around. Right, let's go back to Foshgate. Now, I've met Phelan. He was the member of staff who invited me and sorted me out for the I-60 event, so obviously there's an argument for me having a bias here, because he gave me what has been one of the best times of my life in most recent times. Amazing time. He was a great person to be around. In person, him and Chrysanthos, amazing people. It's where I met Skate and Earl Grey. Again, really great guys. Everything about that experience was great. Now, he messed up. I still personally am not 100% sure whether or not he meant it like he did. The wording to me implied that when he said he would get a copyright strike and would not be allowed to put any more videos up. If you actually do any YouTube and you go into the copyright, into the section that shows you your copyright thing, it's got a little thing. It's either green, like amber, or red. If it goes red, it says copyright strike and it stops you monetizing videos. Now, to me, I think he still threatened something stupid, but I think the bit to do with the copyright strikes and not being allowed to monetize videos anymore was about YouTube's system, not about wargaming. Either way, bad thing to say, stupid, bad cock-up, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he apologized, wargaming apologized, Or at least Wargaming Europe apologised. Wargaming, technically, is it Minsk and Cyprus? Technically, you know, the two head offices sort of thing. They apologised. They did a letter from Florian. I believe Victor Kisley even signed off on a statement. You know, by the way, met him. Also quite an amazingly good guy. Really fun to talk to. If any of you get the chance, he seems a really friendly guy. He's happy to take a picture, all that sort of stuff. So, if you see him, say hello. Anyhow, everything went perfectly, and it was a comment that I believe Jingles made in one of his videos, is you don't judge a company by its cock-ups. I can't remember whether he said this publicly or not, so I do apologise on the off chance that Paul is listening to this, and is a little bit annoyed. Apologies. But he said something about, if companies always cock up, that is, you know, that happens. There is no company in the world who hasn't messed up. There is going to be one day where someone from Tesla is going to be out at a speedway track driving a horrendously fuel-guzzling thing, and it's going to look terrible, and, you know, it is what it is. Stuff happens. Don't judge a company on the cock-ups, because even the best company in the world is still going to have a lot of cock-ups. You know, people are people, we all make mistakes. Judge a company on how they respond. And Wargaming, at first, responded amazingly. They signed off on the thing saying, we will never give copyright strikes. They signed off on, you know, we are not going to censor people. Blah, 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 blah. Really, really good response. And then what happened? Oh, yeah, North America got involved. They said he's, basically that he spouts racial slurs and homophobia. Thanks, Wargaming North America. You managed to make them look stupid. So we have this huge organisation, and every part of it, bar one, reacted incredibly well. They did the right things. Everything was perfect. It went brilliantly. It was a great response from a terrible situation. And then North America got involved and managed to cock it all up. And that's the reason why people like Jingles are no longer community contributors. Hopefully he will be again one day. But, you know, it's all because of Wargaming North America. And you go, oh, well, yeah, okay, it's an isolated incident, surely. Well, yeah, but it's Wargaming North America. So, recently I've been streaming, and there'll be stream highlights hopefully going up tomorrow, and during the week I've got a load of stream footage that I want to use some of the highlights for, but I don't want to overwhelm with just stream highlight footage, so I'm going to try and break it up a bit. But, guy who deals with us, he's the Wargaming European Product Specialist for console, guy called Carbide. Again, really good guy. He has an actual passion for the game, and I think that is just missing from Wargaming North America. And when you compare the sort of things that they do, it's astounding. But going back to my main point, he was in my chat, and he was talking to people and answering questions, and I kept having to point out, Wargaming North America, specifically Chicago, Baltimore, and San Francisco, are the ones who deal with console. I believe they have an office in Austin as well, but I'm not 100% sure on who deals with what. I know they have a few in America. Anyway, Wargaming Europe are essentially like the older brother who has an annoying little sibling. Wargaming North America is an annoying little sibling. Yeah, they're the one going around, I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to fight you, and you know, if you hit me, my brother's going to hit you, and then the brother comes on and goes, stop doing that, get back over there, I'm sorry about this guy, look, here's $5, go away. And that is essentially the role Wargaming Europe seem to have at the moment. It's like they do everything right, they help everyone out, and then they pick up after North America's cock-ups. And it's so stupid. Like, I don't understand what's going on at Wargaming North America. My experiences of them as well also, to me, show that they don't have a passion for the game. That for these people, it is just a job. So, at the very, very early stages, when World Tanks was still in beta, when it just come out, I was doing... I don't know if I've got all of them listed anymore, because some of them I'm a bit ashamed of, and I actually unlisted some of my videos. But if you go to them, you'll see, you know, there's ones about the crew system, about the free XP system. The free XP one has gone viral, ish by my standards, and I find it hilarious because there's people who go there thinking they're going to find a way to get XP for free, and without actually having to play the game, i.e. cheating and hacking. And I love trolling those people who then leave comments annoyed that that's not what they got. But, you know, hilarious. But yeah, and a couple of those videos, I actually got direct emails from devs from the game. And they said, look, I watched this video. That's right. I love it. Really good. I'm really glad you did this. Thank you very much. It's nice to see someone who's, you know, caring about the in-depth bits that most people aren't. But this bit's wrong. This bit is this. Look, I can't... Obviously, I'm going to tell you this, but you can't tell anyone, you know, please don't repeat. There's this, but you can imply certain things from knowing this. And so that way you can correct your video. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. And so I do a correction video, or I do another video where I talked about those issues and I corrected myself from previous video, or I'd correct it in the comments or in the description or whatever. That stopped. And admittedly, I also eventually stopped YouTube, but it stopped. Now, I don't think that was as much as anything. I imagine that was mostly things like the devs moving on or being crushed, being trodden down by what they have to do. And that's probably quite a reach, really, and I'm aware of that. But generally, the staff, I mean, the turnover in some of the staff positions is unbelievable. I still remember examples of during the live stream where a member of staff was asked, about what's their favourite heavy tank, and they said a Panzer IV. And you get things like, we go, come on, you work for the company. You work for the goddamn company. There's no one in the world who has even the remotest knowledge about tanks, never mind World of Tanks, that thinks the Panzer IV is a heavy tank. And there's just all this stuff where it's not difficult. There's no passion for the game. You look at their accounts, and their accounts have got, 100 games, 200 games, 300 games. What have they played? Oh, they played premium tanks for a live stream. That's basically it. That's what they've done. They've played premium tanks for live streams. And don't get me wrong, there are diamonds in the rust. People like Raybot, who appears to have a genuine interest and love for the game. She plays it in her own spare time. I don't know if Nyx is still involved. Nyx WGA used to be amazing. I used to talk to her outside of World of Tanks stuff. She had a real passion for the game. Honestly, I don't see her around anymore, but I don't go on the forums anymore, so maybe she still is and I just haven't noticed. But a lot of the staff just seem to move in and out. It was just a job. Like, they came in, they had done other stuff, the people, some of the ones I used to deal with go, oh yeah, I've worked at Ubisoft, I've worked at EA, I've worked at blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, so so you've just played World of Tanks this entire time and that's all the job I'm going to... No, I just saw a job. Oh, okay. So you love World of Tanks now, right? Yeah, it's quite good. Oh, how often do you play? I don't really get time to play, and I also don't want to bring work home. Oh, okay, so you realistically have no interest in World of Tanks. And obviously they wouldn't answer that, nor would I actually ask that. But the point is still the same. All these people who work at Wargaming North America, I would be very surprised if more than 20% have any real vested interest in enjoyment from the game. And I think therein lies the problem. We have people who see this purely as a business, who purely see this as a tool, as something for someone else. And as much as people might not approve of Phelan because of the actions to do with Foch, it was a mistake, and that's that. But a thing that I think is worth knowing, and this applies to several people. So Phelan was, I think if I remember correctly, he's Hungarian, and he was the #1 Hungarian streamer. And so and I'm talking, 60,000 subs on YouTube, probably I think more than that on Twitch. Twitch partnered, all this sort of stuff. Played World of Tanks. He wasn't a member of the world. He wasn't just some guy looking for a job. He liked World of Tanks. He was even a community contributor. And that's how he ended up working for Wargaming. They offered him a job via the community contributor program. Chris Santos used to stream World of Warships before he got the job. I mean, there's a large number of these people at the European office who had a vested interest in World of Tanks before they ever worked for them. Or World of Warships and Chris Santos' thing. But it's an interesting point. These are people who liked the game, regardless of the job. These are people who would have been interested in World of Tanks, in World of Warships, without a job. Then you got North America, who even with the job aren't interested in it. And I think this is part of why we get such poor communication. And I'm going to be interested to see how this so-called global community contributor program goes. I know certain things that I've heard through the grapevine will be very, very interesting. And I can't really go into those right now, but who knows, maybe there'll be another drama alert video. But there's some really interesting things in how this is all being done, and I don't understand it. Why are Wargaming, specifically Wargaming North America, doing these sort of things? Like, such a basic lie about pricing. 19%. I'm not going to see 19% and go, oh, no, if this was 20%, oh, well, 20% and you would have got me, but 19%, oh, no, not now. Oh, it's not worth it now. 1%, not worth it. So why lie? I honestly can't think of anyone. Can't think of anyone who'd go, oh, yeah, oh, well, I know it's 22%, but if it had been 23, I would have got it. Well, no, actually, no. Let's take the multiple fives argument. Oh, it's 21%. No, I don't want 21%. I'd rather get 20%, because it's a nice round number that way. No one's going to do that. People are happy for a deal. People are happy that for once you're not ripping us off. We're not paying 2,000 gold so your art team can create some random piece of crap you're going to then call a stupid name. If you actually sat down and figured out, Fatherland, Motherland, Glory, Bogota, technically I guess you could argue things like Boilermaker and all that, but at least they were part of the comic thing. The Gornachov, the Kraftspanther, the Lycan, the Kaiju, there's countless. There isn't countless. There's an X specific number. Ziska. There's a lot of these things in the game, and I'm putting money that all of them cost far above their cost, even with a permanent camera. All of them. Why? Well, I mean, obviously the tech tree tanks ones, but I mean specifically the ones that are premium tanks. But why? I mean, they're such a redundant tool, and that's all they are. They're a tool to farm money from. I mean, it's weird that they've even put the IS-5 in as a premium tank when it was, a reward tank on PC, but at the same time they've done that with other things, and I can see that. It makes sense. There isn't any competitive scene. I also think that by doing that, they're also showing that they have no intention of ever putting in a competitive scene, because where are the reward tanks going to be? I mean, they're not. On PC, these are reward tanks, so you'd think, oh, okay, at first I thought, well, the reason why they're not going to release any of them is so when they do put a competitive thing in, they'll be one of the reward tanks. Oh, they're selling off some of the reward tanks. Oh, okay, well, maybe, I mean, they're still, they're selling off even more. Oh, okay. Well, oh, no, they've sold that one too. Oh, okay. What about, oh, no, they've sold that one too. Oh, but they've sold that one. Oh, okay. But maybe they will still keep it as a reward tank, because they're charging you 2,000 extra gold for putting a frickin' camouflage on it. As you can see, this was one of my rantier videos. But yeah, I think I'm going to probably call it there. I think I've got my point across. Wargaming seem to want to rip us off, and they don't want to tell us about what they're doing. So, yeah. Hopefully this is being recorded on Saturday. Hopefully it's still going to be up on Saturday. Apologies for the lack of content at the moment. My timetables are incredibly complicated. My sleep schedule's changing loads. Yesterday I had to be cooking all day, so I couldn't do anything yesterday. And my normal timetable for doing videos is this: I can only do them while my dad is awake, or when he's just gone to bed, but my mum hasn't gone to bed. To explain, when my dad goes to bed, he has, all these tablets and things which help him sleep anyway. So he's usually out like a light, so I can do something then. But then my mum's going to bed afterwards, at which point, I can't wake her up, and I can't do it during the day when he's having his naps. Again, ill health, blah blah. So because I could wake him. My room is next to his, so he would hear me through the wall, and I'd keep him awake. So don't want to do that. So I have to do it during this. But then the thing is, I might be doing things that are taking up my time during those other times, which mixed with I also have to be able to just stop whatever I'm doing in case he falls, in case he's having another seizure thing, in case I need it. So I can't really do anything during those other times either. Right now I'm in a situation where he's basically having a lie down on the couch and watching TV with my mum in the room, so I'm not needed. So I have about an hour spare, of which I've put roughly half an hour to recording this video, and I'm hoping to put about 10-20 minutes towards the editing. These videos are a little bit easier to edit, I will be honest, because I can just chuck old footage on, and hopefully this is all about me talking. That sounds very egotistical. But hopefully the point of the video is about the me talking opposed to the background footage. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. I look forward to seeing what you want me to talk about or rant about next. As you can hear, as much as I've been a bit disenfranchised and maybe even disenchanted by World of Tanks recently, I still have a lot of passion for this game. This has been the biggest game to me of my life. I spent 2 to 3 years wanting to play it, and I've spent 3 years playing it. I've spent more money and more time on this than anything else, and obviously I have this amazing community that I wouldn't have without it. I wouldn't have had the fantastic opportunities. I wouldn't have got to Tankfest, to Insomnia. I wouldn't have had any of this without it. So, who knows? Basically, who knows? But I hope Wargaming North America change. I really do. And I hope that maybe the response of the turnout of this global thing is, rather than North America causing issues for Europe and the rest of the world bringing North America up to par. Because I'm told there's been a lot of changes over there, and I'm hoping they're good. So, let's hope that this pricing structure, however stupidly lied about, is a step in the right direction. So, as always, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the battlefield.